Salam alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis, where we're connecting with different members of the Muslim community and seeing how they're doing amidst the coronavirus statewide shutdown, see how they're managing, how their projects are being adjusted and affected. And here with me, we have today Najah Bazzy. Najah is a beloved community leader, educator, interfaith worker, and transcultural nurse. She's also the founder and CEO of Zaman International, a humanitarian NGO committed to addressing basic needs and empowering marginalized women and children through relief and capacity building and development programs. Assalamu alaikum, Najah, welcome.
Alaikum assalam, Razi. Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you too. Yeah, you're welcome. So I want to hear about all the things that are going on with Zaman and how you guys are adjusting and serving the needs of the community in this crisis. Before we get into that, I just want to check in on you and see how you're doing and how your family's doing in all of this.
Thank you. I have to tell you, it's so nice to see your smile. So first and foremost, we're doing okay. I really taken time to recenter and rethink like everybody else. Alhamdulillah, Razi, I've always been like really good about my priorities. So it's always been God first in my life, and then my family, and then everything else pivots around that. But it's the thing I've enjoyed the most, other than sitting at the dinner table with the family every single day, is I've returned to my village roots, and I'm able to return to those recollections and smells and recipes of my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. So the Lebanese Syrian cook in me is becoming really refined right now.
I wish all of us could enjoy this and experience these smells and tastes.
It's been pretty good.
That's great to hear. That's really wonderful. And just to sort of come back to your work now, and how has Zaman been affected, and how have you guys been adjusting to everything that's happening?
Yeah, well, I think my nursing background has helped significantly. My background is in critical care. It's based on a transcultural model. So I actually have a methodology that runs Zaman's core practices. So right when I started to hear about the virus, just simply because of my background, I decided I was going to stay ahead of it. So long before the governor announced, almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually before the governor announced, I was already having meetings with the staff, trying to look at the risk around the corner, mitigate the risk, and having honest discussions about how we would protect ourselves. And then with all the wraparound services that Zaman does, we made critical decisions around, is it time now to lift that and just take care of people in general who will be in need? And we said yes. And then how? And so we were prepared to go virtual, and we did that. We scaled back and put precautions in place. We were very diligent and very competent about how we moved the organization forward. So we did all of that. So in fact, Zaman has been ahead of the curve. And because of that, we've become a thought leader in Wayne County, state, national levels, because we anticipated. And now I'm doing the same thing. We're anticipating what it would look like between now, end of Ramadan, and December 31st.
And what would you say are some of the most critical needs for the community that you're serving right now?
So we're open to everyone. Zaman's core mission are women and children who live in extreme poverty, below $10,000 a year, but we've lifted that for the COVID-19 crisis. So we're open to anybody who needs food. We decided that of all of the things that we would want to do, for sure, food would be the one thing we would focus the most on. So those first 2 weeks, that's all the calls that we were getting were food insecurity issues. This week, maybe because people know we're there and they're able to access food and all of that, and there's so many people who are doing food right now, we're starting to now see issues of anxiety around unemployment, utilities, shelter, homelessness, um, anxiety over children. We're seeing a lot more domestic violence cases, unfortunately. So we're seeing a shift in the, like, kind of keeping a pulse on the anxiety of people, going from insecurity, food insecurity, to now this.
Hmm. Yeah, wow. That's really powerful. And I feel like, a lot of what you're saying is highlighting the vulnerability of people that were already extremely vulnerable. And that's just being heightened right now, even more so. And so for those that need assistance or are seeking assistance from organizations like yours, um, it begs the question, how can they come get supplies, and do they have to have a caseworker, or do they have to call in, or can they show up physically? And I ask because of all the social distancing guidelines, are they able to come to the physical space and get what they need?
So we're down to a skeleton crew. We've had to also do furloughs and lay off people. We've closed Zaman to the public, but we do have employees there and key volunteers from our Zaman Run team who are helping to package the emergency food boxes. And then this week, the Ramadan food boxes, which are a little different because they're culturally appropriate. They have, things in them like that the families would definitely need, who are fasting families. So when people are coming, we are in partnership with Gleaners. So we're following all these regulations. We helped actually Gleaners develop their manual. That's a kind of, thought leadership we are doing now. So people are able to come to Zaman like every Thursday between 12 and 2. We advertise that. They're able to see that on a social media and all of that. And they have to stay in their cars. They pop their trunks open. Like, this is
Okay.
what has to happen. It's not just at Zaman, it's happening everywhere. So at our Hope for Humanity Center, they pop the trunk open, if their trunk is a trunk that pops open. And then they're able to have the food put in their trunk for people who don't have a trunk that's working. Because remember, many people live in poverty. It's not like everything works, right?
Yeah.
So there are guidelines for a table that they have to pull their car to the side. They have to get out. They have to be able to pick the food up themselves. There's Zaman sewing students have made masks for all of our employees. People are in gloves. We had a volunteer who just delivered 200 face shields, because that's going to need to also, we need to start using that. And there's, 7 to 10 feet distancing, all of that. In addition to that, we are also going into the public school systems. So we have passed out over 3,000 boxes of emergency food that lasts about 2 weeks of the school systems. This week we're going to Hamtramck, but we have had, we've been passing out to Inkster school districts, the Dearborn school districts, and really
Mm.
pretty much anyone that calls us. In addition, we're working with Ford Motor company, to their volunteer corps, to deliver food to homes where people have zero transportation, or they're seniors. So there's so much that goes into the mix. It's like not one methodology, it's several methodologies to be able to relieve that anxiety and make people food secure.
It seems like you guys are doing such a great job of quickly adjusting, maintaining the guidelines, and making sure that people get what they need. So now it kind of has me wondering, how can people support, the community that you're serving, but also how can people support Zaman and helping you guys do the work that you do, the critical work that you guys do?
So, funding is always an issue. And so I keep telling just today, we launched our Ramadan campaign. We have two ongoing campaigns right now. One is for COVID-19. And then one is for Ramadan, because during Ramadan, people have special restrictions oftentimes on the money, so that Zaman is sadaqah and zakat deductible. So that's why we have the two funds running, although, in reality, food is the biggest issue right now. Um, so they can go online, they can contribute that way. The other thing we're saying is, Hygiene products, we like cannot keep enough of that.
Mm,
Things as simple as like deodorant, shampoo, sanitary pads for girls and women. So we're telling people is when you're going out and you're shopping, if you can pick that stuff up enough in bulk that it makes sense that you could do a drop at the Hope for Humanity Center, or if it was such a large quantity that we could pick up from your home or have it shipped to Zaman, that's also very, very helpful.
that's wonderful. Yeah, we'll be sure to post all of these links. And I was checking out your website this morning, so I saw the campaign that's been launched. We'll be sure to post all that in the description with your interview. Um, Thank you so much for all the amazing work that you're doing. I know that you don't do it for the praise; you do it for your love of God and the community, and your passion really comes through when you speak about all this work. So I really appreciate everything that you do, and you're such a mentor and such a hero to so many people in the community. But I
Oh,
just
thank you
really wanted
so.
to mention that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Keep up the
you.
great work, and hopefully we all have a great Ramadan this year. It won't be as social as in previous years, but you'll be certainly in my thoughts and prayers. I'll be thinking
Thank you,
about you
Rusty.
more.
You'll be in mine as well, and my love to Sally and her family. But I do want to just end by saying, and I just, Zaman is not about me. You know that because you know me so well.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I really have been taking away is if it weren't for the donor base, the connection between
Mm,
those who can give and those who need, like we're just the conduit, right?
mm,
But
yeah.
if it wasn't for this hand doesn't eat. It's just so powerful. I keep thinking about it. Almost brings me to tears. So anyway, thank you for the interview.
Yeah.
God
Thank you
bless
so much
you.
for your time. Really appreciate it. And
Thank you,
have a
Rasi.
great day and
Appreciate
stay safe.
you too.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Alaikum assalam.